How many people are connected?
At the moment, 12, 30, 14, but it's not, so the number increases each second, don't worry.
They keep on changing, but I see.
Usually we reach 65, 70 people connected. Some of them, for example, in SUA, they are all in the same room, so one link, but many people in the room. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to everybody. Let me start as in the previous days. I would like to introduce the new lesson of Flavio Androli Bonazzi, the CEO of Hyderabad. Today, but Flavio, I will give you the floor so you will better explain what we are going to do. But the idea is to show you a real business model. That is a way, to transform to an idea in a project of business. The information are the same as the other days. If you want to interact with Flavio, it is welcome because we are looking for a dynamic exchange of opinion and knowledge. So if you want to interact with Flavio, please type your questions or your comment in the chat. And Flavio will stop the presentation, for example, every 40, 45 minutes, giving you the flow. Or at the same time, you can, after the first 45 minutes, you can unmute your microphone and you can ask your question directly to Flavio. Again, for the teaching material, the certificate of participation, the videos of this lesson, tomorrow we will give you 10 15 minutes to fill out the evaluation form that, as you know, is mandatory in the case of a European project like Nishati. And all the people who will fill the form received all of them. So the participation, the certificate of participation, the videos of the lessons, and the teaching notes. I think at the moment it's all. So I wish you a very, very interesting lesson. And Flavio, now the floor is yours. Thank you, Flavio, again to be with us.
Thank you, Katusha. Hello again to everybody. I hope you enjoyed my last lessons, my last lab. And in case you have some questions or to clarify some ideas, do not hesitate to contact me by chat. Probably while I am speaking, I am concentrated on the speech. So please, Godfrey, check out for me whether there are some questions on chat, so you can interrupt me in case, and I will read them and interact with you. So interact whenever you want. Now, let's recap what we have talked about last time. I started with the notion of infrastructure. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back to the, yeah, you see the idea of infrastructure. So what we are talking about? We are talking about development, okay? Our scope, the scope of Nishati, the scope of the skill labs is to think about development of your community and of your country. Particularly, I would foster the idea of local development. The development is based on what? Development is based on infrastructures. What is an infrastructure? The free infrastructures, as I mentioned, is the complex of capital goods, okay, that provide a series of services, roads, railway lines, ports, etc. What is the basic characteristic of an infrastructure? They are capital intensive and on permanent work for decades. Building an infrastructure, whatever it may be, requires a huge investment concentrated in the initial phase of construction of the work, which can be repaid during the useful life of the work through the cash flow it generates. So this is very important. I'm still focusing, underlying this, because we are not talking about engineer, we are talking about economy, as you see. So the development is based on capital goods, on money. Okay. Local development is based on a local infrastructure. Could be a local hospital, a local port, a local airport, okay, a local power plant. Now, of course, we are dealing with energy. So I will shift from the general idea of infrastructure and dive the idea into the energy markets. But anyway, development is related to infrastructure. So you see some examples of infrastructure. Again, useful life is very long, huge investment, huge initial investment in infrastructure means that you have to build it up and then operate. Through the operation of your infrastructure, you can pay back the debt that you have contracted in the first years. Okay. So basically, if you deal with development, you have to deal with money, first of all. And you have to find out a way to facilitate the development. So you have to find, let's say, a model. The model I am talking about, because this is my field, is based on small-scale power plants and the contemporary use of infrastructure, both for the primary use as an aqueduct or irrigation and energy. Okay, let's go. You see, this is what we would like to see in Africa. Local grids, microgrids. This one could be isolated or could be connected to a bigger grid. But this is the model we are searching for. This is an infrastructure. This is an infrastructure because you see, there is the power plant. It's a local power plant. It's small, but this is an infrastructure. You need to find out to raise the money to construct the PV plant. Then you have the storage system you have the converter and so on. So all of this, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 are tools composing the infrastructure. 7 is the load, is the consumer. Okay. Of course, you can substitute the PV plants with the wind farm, with the biomass, with the hydropower. Okay. But this is the idea, the concept is this one. So when we think about this model in a complex grid such as the European one, but just to give you some brief idea, we are, if you see the cursor, we are working here. You see wind farms, solar farms, okay? So we are producing locally the energy with smart grids. In this case, those plants are connected to the grid. The grid is composed by different layers. There is the distribution layer, so low voltage electricity, the high voltage, then there is the high voltage and the extra high voltage, which are the international lines or lines running for hundreds and hundreds of kilometers. What we want to do, we want to stay here, we want to stay locally, and coupling, you see on this right part of the drawing, there is the production, local production, and on the left side, there is a local consumption. What we want to do in our ideal development, we want to couple local production with local consumption. Okay, this is the model I am suggesting to perceive, and I think it's the model, it's a right model for your communities. independently from the source. So you can either use PV, wind farm, water, or biomass. Okay. This is basically our history. This is what we have used. We have thought we had to find the money, so we have to find out a way of making investment and facilitate the authorization process. So we have established a model. We have founded a model which is based on a small-scale power plant and the co-use of the water. In this case, we are seeing a power plant installed on an aqueduct. This is a freshwater aqueduct. And so we are, you see, this is the turbine, and this is the dissipation valve, the yellow one. What we are doing here, we are using the turbine as a dissipator, but we are not dissipating, actually. We are transforming the excess of pressure, of gravity energy, into mechanical energy, and after that into electrical energy. The same thing we do in the canals. I've shown you the video. So we have a drop of head, about 12 meters here, loss of quota of the channel, and we are using the excess of quota. This is actually the same concept of the aqueduct, but this one is in a pressurized pipe. This is a free flow canal channel. So we are using the excess of drop to transform the excess of drop and flow, of course, into power plants. It's exactly the same thing. It's exactly the same thing here. This is the minimal discharge of a dam. You see, this is a big dam. This is the minimum discharge that must go to the river. And we are using, was before and after, we are using this flow and this head. The head is all the height of the dam. Imagine that the water is at this level. So we have about 100 meters head. And we are using this head for transforming we are transforming in electrical power. So this just to give you, and the same thing could be applied to biomasses. In my case, I'm using wooden biomasses, wooden chips coming from the wastes of the rotational cut of the forests which are in central Italy, because it's mandatory for the commons to cut the forest in order to keep them alive. Otherwise, they are gonna die in a decades. So we are buying the wastes of the woods coming from the rotation forestry, and of course, the main part goes to the wood industry. Okay. Then we have given some figures, some numbers. What is the cost of the construction, the cost of financing and authorization, the cost of the design, and then we are seeing that out of the 100%, 10 to 12% is due to financing, authorization, design, and constructions. You have to tackle, you have to spend those money before operating your power plant, before building it up. So you need to have this money. You have to program it very, very, very well, very thoughtfully your investment. Okay, then you have, we must esteem the revenues. What are the revenues based on? On production and electricity value. So we are producing a good. Which good are we producing? We are producing kilowatt hours. The electricity is measured in kilowatt hours. So our production, our product is a kilowatt hours. We must go to the market and sell it. Okay, what is the electricity value? It depends on the market. It's exactly as any other good. Imagine bananas, coffees, fruit, vegetables, ananas. Imagine what is the value of a coffee. It depends on the market. You can understand what is the cost of production of the coffee, but the selling price depends on local and international factors. Okay, the same is for the electricity. And what I'm stressing here is that being what's the difference between electricity and, for example, fruit and vegetables? Electricity is an international commodity, and development and sustainability of the countries are based on energy price. So the energy market is a highly regulated market. What does it mean? It means that it's quite complicated to understand how the price, the value of the energy is formed of the market. You can understand how the price is formed if you deeply study the markets. So again, it's a matter of knowledge. You have to understand that your revenues are depending on the kilowatt hours that you produce, but also on the energy price. To understand the energy price and to put that figure in your business plan, you must study very, very well the energy market, your local market, your country market, but also the international markets. Imagine now what is happening now because of the Middle East problem. In Italy, the energy price has rocketed about 20% in a couple of days. Okay, so for understanding, for designing, drawing your business plan, you have to study very, very well. Okay, this is of course a general idea. This is a suggestion I'm giving you. Just giving you some hints in order to let you understand that development must be tackled in a very serious and thoughtful way. It's not just I have an idea. Okay, of course you have ideas. Of course you have ideas, but the ideas are necessary but not sufficient. Let's go. We have talked about the value, the method of valuation of the investment. We have a discounted cash flow method and levelized cost of energy. I talked about this task last time. Those are the LCOEs of different technologies. Just to stress you out that the gas combined cycle, you see, it's quite competitive with the solar PV utility. Here we are in a field of big solar plant. Big means 15, 20 megawatts and more. Okay, we call utility PV. You see that gas combined cycle is competitive with PV, or PV is competitive with gas combined cycle, but PV is working only about 1,800 hours per year because the night, of course, doesn't work. They do not work. And because there are cloudy and rainy days, the gas combined cycle, having more or less the same LCOEs, have the possibility of have the potential to work 8,860 hours per year. So every hour of the year. So with the same value of LCOE, the gas combined cycle can produce 4 times more than PV. Okay, this is important. So what I'm saying, telling you this, I am saying that the conventional energy most of the time is cheaper than renewable energy in terms of investment. In terms of investment, then you have to make you have to step by and to get into another field of what installing a renewable energy portfolio means for your country. Okay, so in this case, you are not dependent on fuel from outside, you are not polluting, there are less expenses for healthcare and so on. So you have to broaden up your mind and don't think only about strictly economical financial numbers, but you have to broaden your view and get into the numbers of the social economy. Okay, now then I've shown you some project. So I have I've given you some ideas. and we are giving you. I'm giving you some examples of what we have done. Okay, just what we have. I've shown you this video. This is a practical idea of what we in my career I have made as an entrepreneur. But let's go on. I'll show you some more videos. This is another development, local development. You see the red ring is the area in Italy where we are working. Then zooming on it on the right pictures, you have two schemes, the Esero schemes and the Mucone schemes. The Esero schemes, it's an irrigation scheme starting from this artificial lake you see here with the cursor, and irrigating all this area here down to the river. So this area is east of the lake. Okay, flowing this way. It's going east of Italy. By the way, this is the area of famous oranges. Okay, oranges, lemon, mainly oranges. Most of the oranges flowing into the markets in Italy are coming from this area. Then we have another scheme here, Mucone. The Mucone scheme is another irrigation scheme. This time, the irrigation, the irrigated territory, it's on the left side, so is west. Okay, we have spent a lot of time in this region called Calabria, about 6 years, scouting the territory. And during our work, we have, I say, projected the feasibility of those 5 plants. 3 out of 5 are really in operation. Okay, and we are working now on the new one, Mucone 2 and Mucone 3. I shown you the video last time. This is the figures of the plant which are already in operation. So the first one, it's Esero 1. This is the plan using the minimal flow, the vital flow of coming from the dam, and the capacity of 650 kilowatts and average production of 2.3 gigawatt hours. And the cost has been 1.5 million euros, and the annual turnover is about 5,000 euros. This is a kind of project that you can, that I think could be typical of a local river in Africa, not the big one, but the local one. So you have to think this could be a typical project for your countries. Esero 3, the third one, is bigger, it's 3 megawatts, estimated output 8.5 million kilowatt hour, and the cost of 4 million euros. This is the hydraulic scheme. This is the dam. The red line is the adduction pipe. Okay, bringing the water from the dam to the irrigation system here. So those tanks that you see are tanks for the irrigation system. What we have done, we are using with Esero the first the water coming from the river, which is the vital flow from the Esero River, and then we have made a bypass of those tanks, and we use the water after the second tanks, the big one with a 3 megawatt, going directly to the river. Maybe I can show you again the video, and after that we get into the business plan. There is a chat. Somebody.
It is me, Flavio. You can go ahead.
Pardon?
It is me, Flavio. You can go ahead.
You can go ahead. Okay. Flavio, 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 you right? To
I
follow
said
the
it was me just sharing the links to social media platforms. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So I don't know, maybe we can go on further. This is the Ezra first. Okay, so the Ezra first discharges the flow, the discharge water goes here on the river, while the water for irrigation flows down the river with those huge pipes. This is 2.2 meters diameter pipes, and on those pipes, 12 kilometers down the river, we have installed Ezra 3 plant. Okay, so this is the dam, and this is the Ezra third plant. This is during the phase of construction. So you see the dimension, it's not big, not at all. So this is typical local development. This is something that could be duplicated in African countries. Those are fruit trees. You see here, those are fruit trees. So we are basically in a fruit field, and the building is big as a house. I mean, so okay. This is the scheme of Mukone, the one which is on south. Again, we have scouted the territory, and we have found out some hydraulic potential using what? You see this red dot. The red dot is the discharge into the river. The blue one is the river. Into the river discharges an existing power plant of the national company, big one. Okay, the red square, the red rectangular, is the intake of the irrigation system. The irrigation system has an head basin, head tank. From this head tank starts the irrigation system with this green line. Okay, the irrigation system uses about 3-4 cubic meter per second, but the discharge of the power plant is 20 cubic meters per second. So what does it mean? It means that into the irrigation system enter 3 to 4 cubic meters per second, and the rest of the 20 must flow away and go back to the river here. You see the green. So 20 enters here, let's say from 20 to 20 cubic meters per second enter into the head basin. 3 or 4 flows down to go to the irrigation system. The other one through the spillway are returned to the river. So what we have thought, first of all, in this yellow dot, we have installed our first Mukone 1 power plant using the drop of head from the intake, which is here, to the head basin. It's about 12 meters head. Okay, so we are using through a pipeline, a penstock, which is the dark blue. This is the penstock. This is from using the penstock. We transport the water from the intake to the head pond, and before flowing into the head pond, we use the drop of 12 meters in order to produce energy. Then the water flows into the system, and part of it goes to the irrigation and the other part goes back. We are using the spillway system, the water coming through the spillway system, the blue arrows, to feed another power plant, which is Mukone 2 under project. Now it's under project. So you see Mukone 2 is 4.5 megawatt capacity, 13.5 million kilowatt hours, an estimated cost between 6 to 7 million. I think it's more similar to 10 million today, because the price of the energy has risen up very much. So you see, this is the Mukone 2. So you see, this is the head basin that I shown you before. This is the spillway where the arrows is, and the blue one is a penstock going down the river and getting to the yellow ring where there is a power plant. From the yellow ring to the head pond, there is a head of 80 meters, 70 meters, 75 meters. Okay, So we take the water from this basin, we bring it down through a penstock, and we use it for making energy. Then from the yellow dot, the water comes back to the river again. The river is here. You see, this is the river. Where you see dark green, then there is water always. So you have to get used to that. Dark green, water. Okay, and the water goes back here. I hope I can show you now. I want to show you now the. There should be a video actually. This. There should be a video. Here it is. Okay. So I'm showing you the video of this system, this one. Okay. Is there any question? No. Okay. So this is, let's stop it. Here there is the big state-owned plant discharging the water. See the penstock? This is the penstock of the big power plant. The big power plant is discharging from 10 to 20 cubic meters per second in this river. Let's go on. From here, the water gets to the intake of the irrigation system. This is the intake of the irrigation system. Okay. It's quite a big work. You see, actually, this is the intake of the irrigation system. There are some gates, submerged gates here, which are open now, and the water flows into the pipes basically, and go down the valley. Okay. So what we have done, we have intercepted the pipes here, and we have built those organ, which is a desilting organ. So this means that inside this pool, the water, it's a kind of pool. It's about 20 meters long and 15 meters large. The water slow down, and the silt and the sand which is flowing into the water, I mean, goes down on the bottom, and the water cleans it up. See, from the desilting, here there is another gate here. Let's see if it's visible. Okay, there is a gate here. Here there is a trash truck in order to clean from superficial transportation such as woods and so on. From here there is down here there is a gate here, and the gate is open, and the water flows under the road. Under the road runs the penstock. Okay, so you see very well here there is the dissipation tank. I say the water gets into the tank here. It slows down. The sand is deposited on the bottom of the pools, and you see this gate here. If we open, once the gate is open, the water coming in clean everything up and flushes away the sand. Okay, the big gate is here. Okay, so this is the intake, and now we go. You see, now we have jumped about 200 meters down the river from the canal. The pipe is running here. See, you can see from above. Okay, this is the pipe, and you see the blue pipe. We have newly built this building. It wasn't here before. Before there was only the canal, the open canal, and the water was flowing into the canal directly into the head pond. This is the head pond of the irrigation system. The gate of the irrigation system is here. So the 10 to 20 cubic meters are flowing into the pond. 3 to 4 cubic meters are flowing into the irrigation system from this point. The rest through this spillways goes back to the river, which is here. Okay. What is the idea? Scouting this area, what is the idea? The idea is that the water which is not going to irrigating the field, which are about 7 to 8 kilometers this direction, okay? The water which is not going into the irrigation system must flow back to the river, which is here, you see the trees. But if we intercept water in this area, we can use 10, let's say, to 15 cubic meters per second of water. We put it in we let it flow in a penstock. We let it run underground here, you see here, for about 4 kilometers. And in this area, we can build the power plant, the powerhouse with a turbine and producing energy. This is the idea of Mukone II. You see, this is a spillway, and here the water spills away and flows back to the river, which is here. If we install, if we connect a pipe, a penstock, a steel pipe directly on the spillway, we can use the water which must go back to the river, and we can bring it down, flow it down, and use it for electricity. This is the idea. I'm showing this because of the idea of scouting. So what we are talking about here, we are talking a small scale power plant utilizing already existing infrastructure. This infrastructure has been built 50 years ago. Okay, this canal was built 50 years ago. The intake was built 50 years ago. So we have scouted the territory and we have studied the irrigation system, saying, what can we, is there a possibility to find out some excess of hydraulic energy that we can exploit to make new power plants? And we said, yes, of course, it took a lot of time and a lot of knowledge, a lot of time, and also money, because, as I mentioned, the project phase and authorization phase, counts for about 10 to 12% of the overall amount. The overall amount, the overall cost of this power plant has been 2.5 million euros. Okay, so imagine that we have spent about 250,000 euros in order to make to focus the project of this power plant. Focus mean authorizing it and financing it. Okay, and it's the same all over the world. It's independent from the cost of the job. So everywhere you have to have in your mind this figure. If you wanna face a project, you have to think that you must have in your pocket about 10% of the overall cost of the project. Otherwise you won't be able to create the documents which are usable for financing it and for building it. Okay, let's go on. The next step, I will show you the business plan of this power plant. Okay, let's stop here. So this power plant has been it's operating since 2024, and the construction phase was started, I think, at the end of or beginning on 23. I think it lasted about one and a half year. So what we did, as I mentioned at the very beginning, this is an infrastructure. So this is a highly intensive cost. We need to fund the construction of these infrastructures. The cost, as I told you, is 2.5 million. So we don't have in our pocket 2.5 million cash. You have to go to the financial system and ask them for lending you the money. Okay, so first phase, we scouted the territory. We discovered some potential. Then we made a pre-feasibility study. From the pre-feasibility study, we ended up saying, yes, we can make it. There is a real possibility of making a profitable investment, a sounded investment. And so we prepared a document, which is the business plan that I am going to show you after this video, which is the core of our lesson today. The business plan that I am going to show you is related to this plant. Okay, so I've shown you this plan, and then I show you the business plan. The business plan, you will see, is a complex document which we use for asking for the money to the banks. Okay, and I show you on the base of a feasibility study. So I said, dear banks, we have studied the territory and we have found out this potential. We are showing you the feasibility study. Please give us the money in order that we can really execute the project. See, those are all fruit and vegetables. This is a land of agriculture. South of Italy is there is a lot of agriculture. Okay.
Se hai grasso addominale dopo i 50 anni.
Now I have to switch it off. Okay. Are you there? Okay.
We are here.
Yeah. Are there any questions? No. Let's go ahead. So this is the project of Mucone II. So you see the red one is the penstock which we think could be attached to the spillway. This is the spillway. Okay. This is the red. This is our pipe, and our pipe goes down the river. Now let's get into the business plan. Okay. Mi ha alzato la mano. See, somebody raised the hand. No. Chat. If you wanna communicate with me, please write on the chat. So as I said, I'm showing you today the business plan of the Mucone first, the one that I showed you in the video. Sorry, excuse me, I drink. So the year was 2022. Prepared the business plan for the construction of Mucone 1. We call it information memorandum, info memo. Okay, the info memo is a critical document that plays a pivotal role in securing financing. Its drafting, this is important, it's a multidisciplinary task that involves different areas of expertise. Okay, expertise. Why? We need the engineers, of course, because the engineer must give you the figures, based on the project, they must, give you the cost of the works that must be done and the cost of the electromechanical parts that must be purchased. So engineer very important. And then there are the people from the administrative area, let's call the economist, because once we know the cost, they have to calculate the revenues, the interest rate, and they must apply the method of the discounted cash flow. We are using the discounted cash flow method here, not the LCOE. But so the info memo, it's not only a spreadsheet, an Excel file, not at all. The info memo business plan is a complex document made of a presentation, a written part, a description of the project, description on who you are, and then at the end a numerical and analytical part. So don't misunderstand when we are talking about business plan. Business plan is not only the spreadsheet, the Excel file, but it's the whole document. This is a real case. This is the real business case, the business plan that we have presented to the bank for asking for the money. See, March 2022. Construction of Mukone 1 electrical plant. So let's go the structures of this document. Of course, this is part of the material that I released you. Index. So purpose of the document. A potential is to present to a potential lender the opportunity to structure a long-term loan to the company Hydroad for the construction of a hydroelectric plant or irrigation aqueduct fed by the Mukone River. Okay, this is the purpose. Asking for the money. We are, remember, asking for the money. Who we are? Okay, we are going to ask for the money. Okay, so imagine everybody who's asking for some money for any kind of purpose, say, okay, I am who? A student, an engineer, I don't know, a lawyer, an entrepreneur, a local community, and so on. So who we are, the Group Epico. So a presentation of Group Epico. This is very important because, of course, the bank, the lenders must have clear ideas of whom you are talking to. So basically saying who we are saying in a not direct way, it's an indirect way that, look, we are serious people, we are reliable. Credit, remember that in the slides I used the word credit worthiness. So we are worth of credit. Okay, so who we are. This is our structures. So bank, if you want to go and check our activity out, I give you all the information about my companies. They are clear and simple. So please, if you want to make a review of our activity, please feel free. Who are the shareholders? It's me with a brief CV and my brother. Okay, physically, we have a name, we have a face. So we must go and say, we are here, we are. Okay, we are not only companies, but we are partner of this company. And the history, our history. So the financial system can check even our past. And we can, on the other hand, demonstrate that we have walked through a successful trail, that we have been successful because we have installed tens of power plants, and so we are worth of credit for the Mukone first power plant. Okay, the know-how. So we are describing what our know-how, basically, what is our core business, which is our core business, and what we do, And basically, very briefly, it's not a long story. The organization structures. Okay, we must tell them, yes, okay, this is me, I am the partner, my brother too, and we have a good story. We are serious people, but we also give them the practical idea why we think to be worth of the credit. Okay, and so we are saying that our group is organized, that we highly specialized people working with us, and we have experience and so on. Then we are also saying, okay, we have this in our mind. We are asking, we are raising money for the Mukone First, but the life doesn't end at Mokone First. We are in our mind, we have other projects. We are willing to make new investment, and this is a message to the bank somehow. Say, look, we are not waiting for you, dear bank. If you wanna lend us money, that's good, but you have to know that we are very active on the market. We have other projects, and so it's easy for us to deal with other banks. On the other hand, you're saying that you are increasing your company, that you're growing, that you're increasing the investment of your company. Okay, it's a message to the bank. Now, after the general presentation, we plunge into the project. So, are there any questions? It's about 4 o'clock. Do you want me to stop? Do you want to take your time for questions? Godfrey, what do you think?
Yes, Flavio, there was a question from Drusilla. Drusilla, can you please mention your question? It was not very clear because she wrote conversion and she was putting up her hand. Drusilla, are you there? In the chat, she typed conversion energy is cheaper than renewable energy. What about their energy prices?
Pardon, Godfrey?
Yeah, she wrote in the chat that conversion energy is cheaper than renewable energy.
Conversion energy.
What about the energy prices?
Conversion energy. What is the conversion?
That is why I wanted her to explain what it means. I don't know that she was meaning conventional energy. Rosella, can you please unmute and put your question clearly?
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah, what was the question again? Can you paraphrase?
In the beginning, he said that the conversion energy is cheaper in terms of investment than renewable energy. I would like to ask about their prices.
Conventional energy.
Conventional energy, I think so.
Conventional energy, right?
I think so.
I don't know if I read wrong.
Okay, let's go back here. Let's go back to this chart. So, okay, let's go back here. This is conventional energy. This is the area of conventional energy, okay? And this is renewable energy. So you can see that here let's say the gas combined cycle. The gas combined cycle plant are the most popular conventional energy plants, okay? They are the steam plants, okay? And they cover the base load of the consumption of the countries. So they are very important, and it's a very well-established technology. You see that they are competitive in a sense that the LCOE of those plants it's basically the same of a solar PV utility scale. Utility scale means more than 10 to 15 megawatts. What it means? It means that seen from outside, it seems that the solar, the utility power plant, utility scale power plant are very competitive with conventional energy. So you could say, so why don't we install a lot of PV and we close the gas combined cycle? because PV is renewable, doesn't pollute, it's easy. Gas combined cycle, it's a huge structure, it pollutes, it uses gas and coal and so on, okay? But this is you have to understand very well this chart, because remember that the PV only works during the day and during the sunny days, not during the night and not during the rainy, cloudy days. So I can say that average working time, production time for a PV, it's about 1,700, 1,800 hours per year. On the other hand, the gas combined cycle are programmable energies. So they are independent from the weather and from the climate. They can produce all the year around, so 8,860 hours. So with the same, let's say it this way, with the same investment, the gas combined cycle produce roughly 4 times more than a PV plant. Okay, is it clear? Please, Drosel.
Yes, it is clear.
Okay. Now, let's go. Is there any other question?
No.
Okay. Let's go back to the business plan. Oh, no. Okay. So we said now we are talking about the let's say technical part of the project. So there is the description of the initiative. Okay. So we are describing the initiative in how we think it could be, the cost, the term 30-year time, the production. Okay, the energy will be sold to the GSE, which is the Italian state, of TO, which is an inclusive tariff at 152 megawatt hours per 20 years. Okay, at the end of which the electrical energy will be sold under, let's say, the market regime. Okay, so we tell them the flow of the revenues. And then we talk about the company which is physically making the plant, which is Hydrowatt. So the EPICO is the group owning Hydrowatt. Hydrowatt owns the project of Mukone, and so we are talking about the balance sheet of the years before and some financial information. Ok, then ecco qua. Then we talk about scouting. Scouting. Why Mukone 1? Why we have found out that project? Because we have scouted the territory for years in that province, in that region, and so we tell them the history of our presence in the Calabria region. Okay. So we are explaining them why we are there and why we are developing that project. And then the authorization process and the time frame. So we give them the list of authorizations that the project has undergone, in order that they know that the project is fully authorized. Okay. Oh, and now let's talk about the money. So we have given them a lot of information about the group, the history of the group, the knowledge and the know-how of the group, about the company which holds the project, Hydrowatt. We have given them information about the project itself, the revenues, and now we are giving them information about the costs. Okay, so we have specified all the cost, this is the breakdown of the cost from categories. So building and hydraulic walls, electromechanical wall. You see electromechanical, they counts for basically 50%. So I could say that basically it's 50% of the cost. Connection to the grid, works management, unforeseen event, land acquisition, in-house travel, personnel cost for site management, final and executive design, royalty one-off to the municipality, transaction cost. So if we sum all those money, except from land acquisition, we see that it's 40, 60, 100, let's say 200, 250. As I mentioned, you have to think that from 10 to 12, 13% are costs related to financing, authorization, designing, and works management. Okay, so you have the figures here. Those one are real figures. This is again, this is a real document. We have deposited it to a bank. Okay, so you can easily see. You can easily from this breakdown that the intangible costs are about 10-15% of the overall investment. Okay, and after this, what we are saying? We are saying we are asking for the money. This is the page number 19. It's the core of the business plan. It's the way we are asking for the money, and let's see what we are searching for. Also, the total investment is a maximum of 2.3 million euros. Hydrovar intends to participate in the event with its own resources of the 20%, which are equal to 469,000 euros. And the remaining part, it's 1.87 million euros, intends to raise from the banking system at the best market condition an industrial loan with the following characteristics. So what we are saying is that, look, dear banks, we are willing to give you the 20% of equity, so 470,000 euros. The rest, we want to ask to the bank system. But we are not only saying this, we are telling you which are the characteristics of the loan that we would like to contract with you. And so the amount, typology, long-term financing. Remember that I said yesterday, look, we must stay in the field of long-term financing system. Long-term financing system is the typical of the development system. Short-term financing system are much more related to speculation, but we are talking about infrastructures. Infrastructure are never speculating investment. Okay, installment quarterly. We pay every 3 months. Disbursement, a state of works progress. So you give us the money as soon as we finish phases of the works. Pre-amortization, 12 months. This means that in the first 12 months, we give you back only the interest rate, not the capital part. Okay. Rate time fixed, and this is very important. Interest rate 2.35% per year. This is a very important figures. Why? Let's jump back here. Here. Interest rate are, you see, in the discounted cash flow system, we want to have VA high. But if we have R high, we have VA low. So the R, the interest rate, it's really important to have a low value. Because if you want to lend money with a high interest rate, your actual value of the plant decreases. if you're using levelized cost of energy, you want to have this low, because this means that the cost, the industrial cost of your energy is low. In order to have LCOE low, you have to have are the same things, are low. You have to have ET, the quantity of energy, very high, and low cost of maintenance fuel is 0. So R must be low. So you see that in both method, discounted cash flow and levelized cost of energy, the value of the interest rate is an essential figures in order to evaluate your investment. And so coming back to the request that we have formulated to the bank, we said 2.35% a year. Of course, we have proposed them a market value, but let's say a good market value. Security package are the guarantee that we have to release them, and they are made of registration of lion of the machinery, direct and indirect damages insurance with a bond in favor of the lender, and transfer of credit from the sale of energy produced to the state. Okay, so we asked what we are saying. We are giving you a security package based on the project. Okay, we are not giving you security packages going off the perimeter of the project. So this means that we are giving you the flow of the cash flows as a securitization. We're giving you a lion of the machinery and also an insurance bond in favor of the lender. But don't ask for warranties or guarantees out of the perimeters of the project. Another important issue. This one is very important because easily the bank say, okay, I'm giving you $1 million, but you give me as a guarantee your house. Okay. So no, I'm not giving you your house. I'm giving you something because we are financing something that produces a cash flow. I can guarantee you with cash flows of the project, not with my house. Okay. Okay, then we are now getting in more inside the project. So we are we give them some pictures and drawings. See, this is the original state of the canal. Shown you. This was originally how it was. Those some drawings in order to let them understand what we are talking about. So section and plans, so prospects, design, technical design. And now at the end, there is the numerical part. Okay, so you see page number 26. This means that the first 26 pages of the information memorandum are based not on numbers. Only after 26, 27 pages arrives the number. Because otherwise, if you give them the number, those numbers are not enough because you must explain those numbers. Okay? So here there is the overall, the main and economic financial data of the project. Okay? So the cost, the technical data, production, sale price, tariff duration, revenues, annual EBITDA, and then all those costs, the breakdown of the cost, again, the annual interest rate, and the average discounted. I'm going to show you what is this number. Okay, so but this is the final picture, the final financial picture. Okay, this is basically the resume of what the project means. What it's the consistency of the project. So Allora, let's go ahead. Okay. So we in this chart, everything is written about the project. What are the most important numbers? The most important number is the EBITDA amount, the EBITDA margin, which is basically the same, and the ADSCR. The ADSCR, it's the annual debt service cover ratio. Okay, I explain you what this is the most important number for the banks. So let's start with EBITDA, earning before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. This means this is the industrial margin. Revenues less industrial cost. Okay, so you see revenues 413 euros. OPEX, operation expenses 128, 413 less minus 128 makes 284. This is the EBITDA. The EBITDA margin is 69%. This number is very typical of the renewable energy. You see that in annual OPEX, 128,000 euros, are included all the operation on field for the operation and maintenance of the power plant. So the workers, ordinary maintenance, spare parts, and some taxes, local taxes that you have to give, royalties, for example, the cost of the water abstraction authorization that you have to give to the common or to the state, and it accounts for 128, which is basically the 30% of the revenues. What is missing here in compared to other power plants, to the conventional power plants? The cost of the fuel. Okay, in the annual OPEX, if we would talk about conventional energy, we have to add conventional the fuel price. And so it's easy to understand that the annual EBITDA margin for a conventional energy power plant is much less than 70%. So renewable energy, if you deal with renewable energy, you have to expect an EBITDA margin ranging from 65 to 80%. Okay, and they are only the EBITDA margin, which is the industrial margin. It's very important, this figure, because this gives you the idea on how good is the business itself. So selling energy, producing energy, and selling energy, it gives you if I sell energy, what is my real margin? It's 70%. After that, you have to pay the loan and the taxes to the state, the income taxes. But this gives you the idea that the EBITDA of renewable energies are quite high. I don't know whether you have experience, but maybe I'm going to ask you if you know the EBITDA, for example, for other activities in your countries. We could be the food activities or mining activities. If you have the figures, please write in the chat, because I am curious. And we compare other industries with the energy industry. Okay. Then what is the 1.62? Again, it's the annual debt service cover ratio. So it's a ratio. It's a ratio. It's a ratio between what? Between the revenues and the yearly debt. Okay? The yearly revenues and the yearly debt. This means that the revenues are 1.62 times higher than the rate of the loan that you have to pay back. And this is very important for the bank. The bank is happy with this, because imagine if it would be 1.1. This means that the revenues are only 10% higher than the loan you have to pay. But because we are talking about a non-programmable source of energy, in all those figures, the revenues are average revenues. Think about one dry season, one dry year that you produce less than the average. The ADSCR for that year would be less than 0. This means that you don't have the money to pay back the loan. Okay, so this figure is extremely important for the financial system. The higher it is, the easier it is to to raise the money. Okay, let me see. There is a chat. Can you please share on email this presentation with us so that we can review them? Yes, of course.
And I have replied to him that Katusha mentioned in the start that those who attend all the trainings on Friday will have the material used by all the presenters from Monday shared with them.
Yes, you will have all the materials. And by the way, I take the opportunity to tell you that I am sharing with Nishati, organizer, with Katyusha and Godfrey. I will share two documents. The first one is the slides that I'm showing you. Okay. Another one, which is bigger, is the master document. Okay, the master document is the one written by hands by myself. So I have written everything in the master plan. Then I have extracted the slides from the master document in order to create the slides. What I suggest you is to study and to read on the master documents. Because in the master documents, I had the opportunity to extend my thought, to explain maybe in a wider, in a broader way, my view and some concept. I have broadened the topics, so you will find more information. So this is my suggestion. You will receive two documents, but I suggest you to study on the master documents. Okay. Then
thank you, Flavio.
Now,
there was another question, and I think one was from Rosella Wash was saying the investment seems to be huge. How long does it take for its first maintenance?
No, what is Rosella? No, wait, I'm reading now. John, how will you propose an interest rate where in many settings, I presume interest rates are set by the central banks? That's a good question, John. John, of course, you have to present. So the interest rate is set by the central bank. So let's say that the central bank of your country set the interest rate at 6%. Then, of course, what does it mean? It means that the bank buy from the state money at 5%. But remember, the banks are shops. What do the banks sell? They sell money. So they buy money and they sell money. So they buy low and must sell high. If they buy at 5% rate for themselves, they have to sell it at 9% rate. Okay, so there is the room of the negotiation. Of course, you cannot avoid the rate of the country, of the central bank, of the international rate, for example, for World Bank or so on. You have to base your idea. You have to base your, evaluation on the real interest rate. So, for example, as I mentioned, it is true if the central bank set an interest rate, you have to negotiate with what is above that interest rate. Okay, you have to think that if you're dealing with a bank, the bank will sell you money as high as possible. James from Kabbalah University, Uganda. I wish to know the comparison of labor requirements during installation between conventional. James, this is more related to the really construction engineer, civil engineer. But what I can tell you, it's basically if we are dealing with hydro. Hydropower plants basically is made of concrete, steel concrete, reinforced concrete, earthwork, and electromechanical, which are basically the same categories of conventional energy. What it changes a lot are the dimensions, because the hydro could be small or large. I would say conventional energy are large, basically, and the technology for producing energy. In case of hydro, is mechanical power coupled with the electrical generator. In a conventional energy, is mechanical power produced by steam with burning gas, coupled with the electrical generator. So at the beginning of the chain, let's say that the conventional energy are hot power plant, they burn something, gas, coal, oil, and with the heat, they use generally a Rankine cycle. What they use is the steam cycle, the Rankine cycle. And with the Rankine cycle, they feed a steam turbine that feed an electrical generator. This is the chain. But I would say the categories are not very different in terms of engineering. Okay. Let's go back. So again, this is the final chart. So I say how you say that the main data of the project. Okay. Now we can go the development, the scrolling of the spreadsheet. This is a typical spreadsheet. Sometimes people confuse the spreadsheet with business plan. The spreadsheet is not business plan, as I mentioned. The spreadsheet is only a part of the business plan. So here is profit and loss account. Okay, you see during the years from year number 1 to year number 15 in this case, and we use you see all the figures, utilities. Those are the costs, of course, utilities, operation, maintenance, insurance, royalty, and maintenance of consortium majority. So those are the local taxes, basically. Let's say royalties, and the concession fees. IMU it's a local tax. So operating costs 128, and this is the revenues minus operating costs gives the EBITDA, which is 78.9% of the revenues. Okay. And basically you see that during all the 15 years, it's quite stable. Depreciation and amortization, which give you another index, which is EBIT, earning before interest and tax, 120. The EBIT is 29.2%. The financial interest counts for 44,000, and they are decreasing. Okay, going on with the years, the payback system is that you pay more interest at the beginning and less at the end. So the EBT, earning before taxes, it's increasing, of course. And it's 18% going to up to 26%. And then you see here, once you have finished once you have finished to pay your loan, the earning before taxes, it's 67.1%. Okay, which is the same figure. It's the same as EBIT, earning before interest taxes, because you do not have to pay interest. You don't have to pay the loan back. So you have an earnings very high. So once you finish to pay back your loan, you make a lot of money. But of course, you have to wait 15 years. And the net profits, it's about 13%, 14%, and it raises until it becomes 48% on the 15th year once you have paid back the loan. Okay, so this is very typical. It's a typical financial story of a renewable power plant, but even maybe conventional power plant, because at the beginning you have to contract the debt. Then you have to pay back the debt for 15 years. Once you have paid back the debt, because the useful life of this power plant is longer than the debt, let's say useful life of this power plant, it's about 30 years old. So it's about 30 years. So once you paid back, you finish to pay back the loan, you are only at the half of the useful life of the power plant. So you have other 15 years. Of course, you need to operate and maintain it. So you need to make investment in operational maintenance. Otherwise, it won't last 30 years. So the basic condition that the useful life is really 30 years is that you every year make investment on O&M. Okay. Cash flows, so total cash flows, operating cost, debt service, total cash outflows, okay. Unlevered cash flows. Unlevered means the cash flow without the loan. The free cash flow. So this one is the amount of money that at the end of the year remain in your pocket once you have paid the operation expenses and the financial expenses. So those are real money that you have at the end of the year in your account. Everything paid, okay? And you see that every year they slightly changes because it changes the rate of the loan, because as I mentioned, it's higher at the beginning, lower at the end. But you see that the net free cash flow is always positive. It's always about 100,000 euros. And the cumulated cash flow in 15 years, it's 1.6 million. Let's say in 14 years, is 1.4 million euros. Okay, and during the 15 years we have finished to pay the loan here, so it has a step up. So again, what is the financial history of this investment? The financial history is that this investment is positive. It remunerates the investment. It pays back the loan. Every year, roughly, you have a cash flow free of about 100,000 euros on the average. Remember that you see here, we are operating revenues. We are considering the revenue constant during the year. This is a steady series, which is in reality not true, because hydropower is not programmable. So this is an assumption that we are making, an easy assumption. But in the reality, we have to think that there is a volatility in these figures, because sometimes the year is dry and sometimes the year is wet. And depending on that, the revenues changes. So, you have to consider this business plan as a guide, as a line. I don't know. Every year could change, but in the 15 years time, we can say that in the average we have a net free cash flow of 100,000 euros, and accumulated cash flow of 1.3. And the the revenues are always capable to pay back the loan. Okay. And this is the balance sheet, the values of the asset, which is decreasing with the depreciation. Okay. Total asset, I would skip this. And those are the index important for the bank. Unlevered cash flow, you see, debt service, those are the debt service, and the index annual debt service cover ratio, that this is the average of the first 14 years, and every year we have a positive cover ratio. This means that every year, for example, year number 7, we have revenues which are 1.62 times higher than the cost. So basically, it's debt service 158 and an unlevered cash flow. Okay, so basically 255 is 1.61 times more than 158. Okay, so the banks, you are saying to the banks that everything is fine. I will pay back the loan. Sorry. Of course, you see what we in this case, you see, this is interdisciplinary document. It's not made only by economists or by engineers. It's a teamwork, and also by the people from lawyers. So we need lawyers here because, again, we are dealing with the energy market. Energy market is highly regulated markets, so it must be studied from different point of view, from the regulatory system, so means law. So we need lawyers, from economists, because involves the cost of the energy and everything composing the cost of the energy, and technicians, because even there a lot of technical instructions are based on the energy market. So it's an interdisciplinary work, and this info memo is a teamwork. Okay. Okay, so the plan, at the end, the final statement, the plan pays back over the amortization period of the loan with a DSCR of 1.62. This is very important. Then the contacts, of course, all the people. You see, this is the team which has worked on the info memo. It's me, my brother, head of investment. She's an economist. This is an engineer, technical engineer, head of administration, head of legal. So we, as I mentioned, legal, technicians, partner, and administration. It's a teamwork. Comments to the information memorandum. I have already commented. Those are the key points that I have already exposed you. So those are concepts that I exposed you during the presentation, and so on. Okay. So now, what's happened? So now, I actually have finished the presentation. Are you there?
Yes, we are there.
Yeah. I have basically finished the presentation. So now I give the floor to you. So please let me know if there are any kind of questions and so on. I have lost the presentation. Oh no.
Yeah, Flavio.
Yes, I'm sorry,
Uh,
but I've lost the presentation. I don't know where it's finished. I interrupt the for a second. Then I will get into it again. Just one moment. So, are you there?
yes, you are there.
Right, please talk. Please tell me, please.
Thank you for your good presentation. I would ask the time it takes for the power plant to make its first maintenance.
Yeah.
How long it takes for its first maintenance?
In terms of what?
The first maintenance of the plant, the power plant in general.
The first maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah, the OpEx is, can you see now? Can you see the presentation?
No.
No. Allora, so let me see where I am. Zoom. Okay. Okay, can you see it? No, you
Yes,
should.
Flavio. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, we can see it.
You can see. So how much is the OpEx? Operation and maintenance. You see, it's you can find here. What is it? Uh, uh, it's 120. In this case, is the 31% of the revenue is a 31% of the revenues, the operation and maintenance. But the works directly, operation and maintenance is about 15,000, which is not much. It's let's say 15 plus 7 plus 2. Yeah, those are direct costs, 15, 7, and 2. It's about 20, let's say 25,000 out of 413. So let's say it's about 5, 6, 7% direct cost. I mean, people working physically on the plant and some costs related to utilities and insurance. And it depends. This is what we want, you wanted to know.
I wanted to know when they start maintenance after the construction of the plant.
Immediately after the construction.
Okay.
Immediately after. So imagine that once you put online a power plant, any kind of power plant, you finish the construction, you put it online. The day after, you give the maintenance to the O&M team. Okay, the day after, immediately after. So as soon as the power plant is online, operation and maintenance starts.
Yes, thank you.
I have Laura. My question was answered. So Drossel. Now I answered Drossel.
Yes, thank you very much.
May I greet you all. My question regards the energy policies and legal frameworks to the global present and country level perspective. In this area, research enough to facilitate the ongoing. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Benzi. Great afternoon, good presentation. Okay, so are there other other questions? There are a lot of questions. So I would like to know your ideas. Last time there was Innocent. I remember Innocent giving me ideas. He wanted to use PV power plants for agricultural system. Is there anyone having ideas about living your communities? You know your lands, you know the communities, you know the resources, the natural resources of your country. Have you ever thought to develop a project? So let's interact, because otherwise I tell you what I have done, but I would like also to know what you would do with your resources. So don't be shy. This is very useful. This skill, these labs are very useful in order to exchange ideas. Is there Innocent today? Is he present?
Yeah, I'm present. I'm present.
Okay, what is Innocent? Innocent, give me some ideas, because I I enjoyed your idea of the P. Tell me more about your idea. So maybe we can interact and give some more information. Go ahead. So Innocent was proposing during the other lesson a PV photovoltaic system in order to recover the wastes of the farming system. But I'm not sure what he wanted to really do with the PV energy. So if you can explain me, maybe so we can have a real case idea.
Good evening to you all. This is Innocent from Uganda. For the PV power plant, I was thinking of it to be okay. I wanted just to have it, and then I can sell power. Then also I can have part of it powering a cold storage unit to help farmers who are actually experiencing post-harvest losses due to damages to fruits and other leafy vegetables that can't stay long after harvest. So that's how I can
Okay,
briefly introduce it.
this is a wonderful idea, actually. This is a typical local development idea. So, Innocent wants, imagine, to install a PV plant that can both sell the energy to the local markets and feed a refrigerating system, a refrigerating storage system for fruit and vegetables in order to preserve fruit and vegetables longer. Otherwise, the farmers are losing a lot of quantity of fruit and vegetables because they wrote up. Pardon?
Like that has.
Yeah, okay. And so this is a typical idea, a typical local development idea. So again, what you need here, you need you're saying power of PV for photovoltaic. Actually, I would say the same thing, the same source. Why? Because photovoltaic is very simple to install. It's simple to buy, it's simple to design, and it's simple to install. It's not the most efficient source of energy, because the overall efficiency of a power plant, of a PV power plant, is about 17, 18%. So given the energy of the sun hitting the soil, only 16, 17% could be transformed in electrical energy. But on the other hand, It's cheap and is very easy to install. Just give you the comparison. The hydraulic energy has an efficiency about from 70 to 80%. It could go even
Oh.
to 82 or 83%. Okay, but on the other hand, hydropower is much more dependent on the local situation, like local water. You must have water, so flow and head, which is not for the PV. So the PV is the easiest way for enhancing a local development. Now, how much PV you would need? It depends on how big you want to make those storages, and of course the motors, the engines for the refrigerating system. I would say that with 500 kilowatts, you could make quite a good storage system. But 500 kilowatts of PV means, let's say, about 1 hectare of land. 1 hectare of land, and it would cost you basically about $300,000, more or less, if the value of the land is low. So again, you have to face the problem of raising the money, because the idea is very good and it gives a lot of value. It's a very valuable idea because it gives a lot of value to the farming system. But again, you have to raise the money. Let's see, James. I have an idea of starting an irrigation system in a local area due to much sunshine. Normally hit our organic crop, but the problem is the scarcity of resource installation. The scarcity of what, James? Of water or of machineries? James, tue sigue. I imagine a scarcity of resources for installation, resources or economical resources. Because if you think to irrigation system, this means that you know that there is water in your land. I think he meant capital requirement. Okay, so you have the water, you have a good quality of land. So from the technical point of view, your project is feasible. And again, he is lacking capital. The capital is lacking the money. And again, we are coming back to the very beginning. We are talking about infrastructures. So James wants to build an infrastructure, an irrigation system. And again, he needs the money to finance it at the very first stage, because if you're thinking about development, you have to deal with money. The money are needed to create the infrastructure. So again, what I suggest you, if you have those ideas, develop your ideas, especially in the university. Being a student of a big university helps you to create a team in order to put together ideas and drawing down an info memo. Once you have the info memo, just try to put down the numbers, and once you have it ready, go to some financial institution, either national or international. In your countries, there are a lot of hello? Please mute your microphone. And so there are a lot of financial institutions that, even international, that finance local development. But of course, you need to talk their languages, and their languages is made of those kind of documents. But I think that university, being at the university, you could easily create a multidisciplinary team. I think because your ideas are excellent. I mean, I fully agree with you. up after. I think I need help on my project proposal writing. Charisma, innocent. Of course, innocent. Yes, yes. It's you can write me. Anyone you can. I don't know. Let me. Can I write down my my uh, my email. What do I write? What do I write down my message? Ah, I'm writing my. Okay. Right. This is my email, and you can send me email with your ideas, your comments, and if I can help you giving some ideas. Okay. So do not hesitate to make it. Okay. Godfrey, it's 5. What we want to do?
Thank you so much. Katusha is in the house. She can guide. Katusha, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. And so thank you, Flavio. I would like to add that, okay, usually we think to the banks, we think to the final agency to get money, but taking consideration that there are also the opportunities now to participate in the European calls, and
Yes.
some of them are focused on African countries. I'm looking at the CSO calls, the Erasmus calls. For example, Nishati is a project funded by the Erasmus Plus call, Youth Empowerment Fund. So there are many calls. You can visit the European portal in which Uganda is eligible. So I suggest you to have a look because some of them, for example, can finance testing of prototype or some idea supporting the poor people.